Hello internet, and oh boy, with the 2.0 Penacoli livestream, I can say for sure Honkai Star Rail is the best game of all time, man. Giving us not only 20 free pulls, we're also greeted with the waifus. Well, this is basically a waifu, no? And today, I'll be breaking down what they do and analyzing who you should be pulling for. Disclaimer, I will not be including leaks, so this video will mostly be talking about what is shown in the livestream. Let's get started. The first banner 5-star we'll be getting in 2.0 is Black Swan, or I should say, the Gyat. Black Swan is an ability character of the wind element. To start with the conclusion, she's a half dot-based DPS, half defense shredder. This is a pattern we see more and more of with Honkai Star Rail. Characters these days just have multiple roles, like how Ho-Ho is a healer and a buffer. Taking a look at her skill set, her main mechanic is dealing dot damage and increasing damage dealt through her exclusive debuff named Arcana. This debuff can be considered as a unique dot debuff according to the livestream, meaning at the start of each turn, you'll be dealing dot damage with this debuff as well. Her talent allows you to have a fixed chance of inflicting Arcana on the target when they receive dot damage. Her talent only activates if the enemy takes dot damage at the start of their turn, but she does have a trace that increases the stacks if they take dot damage from, say, like a Kafka. After getting a certain amount of Arcana stacks, it will be upgraded with additional effects that all in all helps you deal more damage. I'm sure you know what it would do from the leaks, but in conclusion, it makes you do more damage. A lot more damage. This means someone like Kafka or Green Ivan that can both activate dots will be very good paired with Black Swan, activating their dots and in turn getting more Arcana stacks. Her basic attack is just like any other basic, except it also has a chance at inflicting Arcana. Pretty handy for a kid. The same can be said with her skill. It applies Arcana on the enemies, and on top of that, reduces the defense of enemies as well. Now, defense reduction is very valuable since it does not give diminishing returns, meaning you should be stacking as much of this as possible. Not to mention, it's also considerably rare since only 2 other characters in the entire game have defense reduction in their kit. This gives Black Swan the role of being the Pella of dot damage teams, and you know how impactful Pella is in amplifying damage for classic hypercarry teams. Black Swan's ultimate is completely ignored in the livestream for some reason. They don't even show us what did it apply on the enemies at all. They just cut it and then went on. But all you have to know is it helps her kit function, and her kit involves dot damage, plus it increases your damage dealt as a whole, one way or another, right? From all that we understand from the livestream, we know that Black Swan is a versatile character where she can apply defense reduction and that she shines best in a dot team with Kafka. To answer the question, should you pull for Black Swan? Here's a list of pros and cons from what I observed. She herself will boast insanely high dot damage. She makes dot team immensely stronger. If you own a Kafka, pair them with Ranmei, you get a perfect team that dishes out damage constantly. She can also stack out a lot of defense reduction, especially the prisoner set and light codes. And finally, she will be a staple in any dot teams in the future. This is a guarantee with how she reduces defense and the amount of support that she gives to dots. Hence, her value and investment is very high for the future. Her cons, however, is that she's weaker without dot characters to increase the Arcana stacks, and that's kind of just it. In the end though, I think her pros outweighs her cons, mainly because of her multi-target defense shreds. Although yes, she is best in a dot team setup for sure, but her value as just a defense shredder is still there. If you use her as a standalone defense shredder, it is still workable, albeit not optimal. Now, if you stack her death shreds with Pellas together, that might unlock one of the highest AoE damage you will ever see as well. And for that, I think you will not regret pulling for her, and well, can you stop yourself from the Gyat? However, we do have to look at the second banner of 2.0 though before we make a decision, right? Which is Sparkle. This is yet another insanely strong character that really just murders free-to-play players, man. Sparkle is a Quantum Harmony 5-star character. To start with the conclusion, she is a god tier buffer. To put in perspective, think of her as a combination of Bronya and Hanya on crack. Like, it's just not fair. Taking a look at her talent, it additionally increases the max number of skill points by 2. That's the Hanya on crack part. On top of that, it grants your allies increased damage for every skill point consumed. Even in the live stream, they already showed us exactly how we would love to use Sparkle with the Gambling Gremlin, or well, just any high skill point DPS, right? Her ultimate regenerates 4 skill points for your team and buffs you with more damage. As if that's not enough, her skill is able to advance her target's action by a fairly big amount, and on top of that, grants the target with crit damage buff as seen by the icon here. Are you kidding me? This is literally Bronya's ulti and skill combined, and it is spammable. Hello? From what we understand, Sparkle is easily among the ranks of Bronya and Ranmei in terms of value as a Harmony character. You can use her in her alleged best role as a mono quantum buffer, or you can just use her anyway, in any team. All of her buffs are universal, like skill points or crit damage buff. Any team will love to have them, right? Making her your final chance to back yourself a great Harmony character if you've missed Ranmei. Now the question is, should you pull Black Swan or Sparkle though? The easiest way to find out, look at your account. If you are a meta player, you should see if you have the best Harmony characters first. If If you have both Bronya and Ranmei, Sparkle becomes great to have, but no longer a necessity. However, if you only have one of them, I would suggest going for Sparkle. She seems to be the most versatile and is able to speed up your clear time, something meta players would definitely enjoy. Pure support characters like these are usually more future-proof as well, since there's nobody they can release that hates being buffed in the future, right? So if there's gonna be a strong DPS, Sparkle, Bronya, Ranmei, they will all have their value increase as well. As for Black Swan, although we all know she's hot, she's still mainly a dot-based character, meaning you want to pair her with dot characters, specifically Kafka. Now, if you don't own a Kafka, Black Swan's value will drop. Although rejoice, even without Kafka, it's not like she's useless, right? Her defense shred on her E is still going to make her usable in any situations as like just a mini pillow with some DPS damage on her as dots. But as a conclusion, I prioritize pulling for Sparkle for just how omnipotent her kit is, and then I consider Black Swan if I own a dot team with Kafka. But again, pull for who you like should be the answer otherwise. They are still both great characters that you will not regret pulling for, I think. No wonder they give us 23 pulls, man, because this is just brutal. Moving on, we do have a Misha to talk about, but I'm not gonna lie, they really did not explain much at all about his kit. They were more just making fun at how he attacks with mobs and suitcases. However, they did mention that he does more damage on his ultimate the more skill point his allies uses. From what I observed, his skill adds 2 stacks of hits to his ultimate, while his allies will add 1 stack per skill point is used. At a maximum of 10 stacks, his ultimate will now hit enemies 10 times, and it seems that the targeting is random, as we see how the freeze just procs 9 at the same time, right? And they do have a chance at landing a freeze for each hit. With this, we can easily conclude Misha as a multi-target ice DPS. She's not going to outperform Jing Liu, but depending on his multipliers, his 10 stack ult could be incredibly strong as a 4-star DPS. However, I suggest against going out of your way to get him unless you are in desperate need of an ice DPS. And finally, we have the rerun banners in IL Dan Heng first, Jing Yuan second. I actually think this is a rather easy decision considering just how good the new characters are. In my opinion, look at your account again. Unless you have both Bronya and Ranmei, Sparkle is just too valuable to pass on. A support's value can only go up with more OP damage dealers being released in the future as well, so you can't really go wrong with having Sparkle in your account as your second Harmony god. Black Swan with one of the rarest multi-target defense shreds and being the best dot support there is also fairly valuable. If you somehow have enough to even consider the rerun banners, here's how I would see it. Pull IL Dan Heng only if you have 2 of the strongest Harmony 5 stars and that you lack damage dealers. He is, in my opinion, the second strongest DPS right now, with the only issue being high skill point usage. Something Sparkle directly solved for you, right? If you can get both, that'd be ideal. But even with just what we have now, he still functions greatly as a damage dealer anyway. So yeah, pull him if you're in desperate need of a DPS and not in desperate need for any other supports. As for Jing Yuan, unfortunately, I can't suggest anyone to get him over any other options that we have, unless you just love him, right? Note that he is an erudition DPS that can beat any content in the game, but he simply isn't the best option for any content either. If a DPS is what you need, I'd still be going for Dill, but I do have to emphasize on Jing Yuan's Lycon being one of the best erudition Lycon though. However, I still don't think you have the leeway to not pull for the newer 5 stars, so there's that. And ladies and gentlemen, that will be all for my breakdown on who you should be pulling for the 2.0 banners. I'll be doing more analysis style content along with the goofy credit I usually do, so yeah, do drop me a sub if you like that. And dude, I do not know how free-to-play characters are gonna survive, but good luck, man. I hope I helped you out, and take care.